Hey everyone, I'm going to record this video on my computer to see what the difference is between recording it on here versus recording it on my phone, and see which one works better in the future. I'm not quite at the stage yet where I'm actually going to get a proper camera, but I probably will later in my life anyways, when it comes to YouTube. This video today is a bit of a throwback in the past. It's a bit of a visualization of what I wrote myself in 2022, which is 3 years ago. What's actually happened since then, what I've managed to achieve, what I haven't, and I guess the reasons for that. This is pretty private stuff, so look, I appreciate you watching this on the internet, but I think the lessons that you'll get out of this video are going to be very important ones that they're mistakes that I don't really want you to make yourself in the future. And then I guess at the end of this video, I'm gonna make sort of in my own visualizations of where I want to be in 3 years from now, so 2028, or I guess the end of 2028. And then that way I can look back on this in a few years and go, you know what, I've actually achieved that. Because that's the biggest thing that I care about. That's the biggest thing I want for you guys is visualizations. It's important to have long-term goals, but I think it's more important to just have 2 or 3 very specific goals that you're actually going to stick to and manage to achieve. That's probably more important, I think, than trying to set about 6 or 7 different goals at once, which is something that I did, and I made a serious mistake of it. So without further ado, I'll read what I wrote to myself 3 years ago. So I wrote, today is May 3rd, 2022. I'm 21 years old. I got my first job when I was 17 years old, nearly 4 years ago. I don't spend much money and save up most of my money. I want to do a quick visualization of where I'll be in 3 years' time when I'll be 24. So I'm 24 now. So I hope I can grow a beard by then. I don't actually have a beard. I'll find a photo of myself when I actually did manage to grow a beard. There was about a 1 month period last year where I just had injured myself and I didn't actually shave. And I'll put it up on the screen. I will train consistently in the gym for 3 years. I said I'll have bigger lats, chest, and a six-pack. I'm not quite there yet when it comes to fitness. I'll make a full sort of video on my fitness journey and my transformation. Obviously, I've got a bigger chest, bigger lats, but I don't really have a six-pack yet. I'm not quite lean enough for that yet. I'm mostly where I want to be with my body. Obviously, a long way to go for realistically where I want to be, but from then till now, I've made a lot of progress, and I'm not quite as lean as I can be. I am in a cutting phase at the moment, so I hopefully will have a six-pack soon, actually have visible abs once I actually lean down enough. I'll be at the end of my naval term, and I'll have started a YouTube channel and grow a small audience. This is probably the most disappointing part because, like, since then, I probably only recorded like 4 or 5 videos in a 3 year period. Which, you know, if I had just done a video a week, no matter how shit they had been, I would have actually made progress in this. Which is why I'm kind of disappointed in myself, and I wish I had done better. But then I wrote, this will only happen once I start an audience and I have time to do that. I think what it was I got a bit too consumed in my work, which was full-time. It was more than a full-time job, to be honest. That being said, it's not really an excuse. I definitely had free time here and there in the last few years where I could have done this, but that's just my fault for not having done that and not having put an emphasis into it. But I'm putting a lot more of an emphasis into it. Yes, despite still working a full-time job, I'm still going to aim to upload about 1 video per week, or maybe like one every couple of days or something like that. My upload schedule is going to be a little bit all over the place in the next few weeks, but for the most part, that's what I want to do. I wrote that I'll pretty much be at the end of my time in my job. So I have a contract which is about 6 years. That ended about 2 months ago. Unfortunately, I'm not really in a situation where I can leave the job just yet. My contract's slightly extended, but hopefully at the end of next year I'll have left it and then I'll commit to YouTube full time. I said I want to I want to go live at home, go to a local gym every week, continue improving myself physically and mentally. By then, I will have attracted more girls and maybe even have a girlfriend. That's a funny comment because, like, since then, I did have a girlfriend last year. Did it slow me down with my progress? Honestly, yes, it did. Not to say that she was a bad person. Like, she definitely helped me achieve some of my goals, but I think it was my own fault because I rested too much on my laurels, and unfortunately, we broke up like a couple of months ago, and that was my fault, and that was because I had said to myself, "Yep, I've got the girlfriend now. I can relax on the goals," and I sort of let everything slip. Then I wrote, I'll have not meditated. I'll have meditated every day, and I'll have not jacked off for a long time. Done a lot of introspective work. I would pretty much say I've done none of this. In terms of jacking off, like I don't really do it anymore. To be honest with you, I relapse every now and then, but for the most part, like I just don't because it's not worth it anymore, and it's not even that enjoyable. And in terms of meditation, I did it for a little bit, but then I stopped. It'd be sort of on and off period. Same with gratitude journaling. I'm at a stage now where I'm gonna do it a lot more and actually make it a goal. It's on my habit tracker, so if I don't do it and there's a big X there, I'll look at that and I'll feel like shit and go, okay, fuck, I actually need to achieve this. I'll stop playing video games, watching movies, TV shows, and stop wasting time on YouTube. I still waste an unbelievable amount of times on YouTube, and I still watch movies every now and then. I like to watch sort of old school movies, not really super high paced edited things nowadays, CGI shit, but sort of like old school James Bond type movies and things like that because I think they're quite entertaining and I think they're actually quite good. Do I think watching movies is good though? Not really. Like I kind of need to stop that. I still waste unbelievable amounts of time on YouTube. The one thing I will say about YouTube nowadays, I try to watch a lot more long form educational type content, like 2 hour videos sometimes when I'm just at the gym or something like that, or on the treadmill, or if I'm in the car, I'll try and listen to like a half-hour podcast because that allows me to not get sucked into it and not sort of scroll mindlessly, and I'm actually listening to something. I said my focus will be improving my skills. I'll be almost fluent in German. I wouldn't say I'm almost fluent in German. I still actually have done. I still have used Duolingo for the last 6-7 years. I have like a 1,300 day streak or something on it like that. It's pretty ridiculous, but yeah, doing that to me has actually been that's something that I've stuck to. Yes, I kind of half-assed it every now and then, but I say that I'm still glad that that's something I stuck to and didn't sort of give up on. Then I wrote, I'll be able to go visit my family who live overseas. I'll be able to spend more time in nature and go skiing, which is what I love doing. So probably the favorite activity that I have. I know a lot of the self-improvement community guys, we want to go to Bali and all that because that's what people talk about. But like me personally, I'd want to go live somewhere in the mountains so I can go skiing and do the activities I actually want to do. In about a year or two after I leave the job that I'm in, I'm going to apply for an internship to become a ski instructor, just to give it a go and see what it does. Because at least if I enjoy it or if I don't, it's only 6 months. If I don't enjoy it, I can look back on it and go, you know what? At least I gave it a go. That's the biggest thing for me. Is I'm at that stage now where I just want to go bounce around, do a lot of different things, give different things a go, and see what I like and see what I don't. But ultimately, YouTube's probably my biggest goal, and actually like keeping this channel going and actually uploading videos consistently now. Then I think it's really important to visualize success, and this only really clicked into my mind today because rather than looking 3 years into the last 3 years which I've wasted, I look ahead at where I can be in 3 years, which will actually motivate me to achieve things. Yes, I've achieved a fair bit in the last 3 years, but the biggest disappointment that I have is obviously the YouTube goal, which has always kind of been a goal of mine. I guess the reason I didn't really achieve it as much as I could or as much as I wanted was because I believed that, I was still working a full-time job and there wasn't really a fire under my ass saying, hey, this is your life. So I think if I actually quit my job and go all in on this, I'll look at this and go, you know what? Like, I've got, like, there'll be a fire under my ass saying, hey, you can actually achieve this. Next part is now the real question is, how am I going to achieve this success? Well, the brutal truth is to start from the bottom, continue with the good habits, stop doing the bad habits. Now, that sounds easier said than done. Um, I think it's a lot. It's a lot deeper than just saying, yeah, continue good habits, stop bad habits, because there's a lot of the way to do it though is not, as black and white as just, yeah, stop doing bad habits. Like, you have to slowly introduce good habits, and those good habits have to take over your time. And then the more you do that, the more you'll actually go, you know what, I have more time now to do good habits, and that will fill up your time. And then you'll basically stop doing the bad habits because you won't have any time to do them. The biggest thing that boredom does is it causes people to do the bad habits. And the way to cure boredom is to just actually improve your skills and improve yourself as a person, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever it may be. And then I wrote, at the moment, I have quite a bit of free time, and I can use this time to start looking at how to make YouTube videos, writing books, and selling things online. I'll spend every time every day writing and saving all my work somewhere so I can look back on it and reuse it. Some examples are, I have built a good habit of always exercising daily and actually progressing in what I do. Now, at the moment, I have literally a month where I'm not working. I'm still getting paid for my work, which is good. But I can literally go all in on this for the next month and make an insane amount of progress, more than I've made in the last 3 years, right? Even then, just by uploading like a couple of videos in the last few weeks, I've made more progress than I have in about 3 bloody years. Um, then I wrote, I'll level up my language skills every day in French, German, Spanish by doing Duolingo and journaling every night. I One thing I'll start doing every night after dinner is reading, meditating, and then restarting from the bottom, making this an evening habit instead of what I have been doing lately, which is waking up late, wasting an hour or two watching YouTube. I will also rewrite my daily program on a phone, what I will do every hour. I still do that to this day, the daily program thing. I stopped it for like a year maybe, which is kind of annoying when I look at it. But now that I'm actually doing it, I just look at that and it tells me what I have to be doing for the first couple of hours in the day. And then I can just go straight into that. And it makes my life so much easier because I don't have to focus on other things. I can literally just go and do that. Um, Now, the thing that I wrote actually about meditation is interesting. I meditate twice a day at the moment, once in the morning, once in the evening. The morning, because then it just sort of clears up your mind and it allows you to focus a lot more on the work. And then I sort of dedicate that first block in the morning, before sort of about 11 o'clock, to pretty much solely YouTube, which is only recording videos and writing the scripts. And then, because they're realistically the big task, setting and moving the needle ahead. And then after that, I go into doing a bit more of the things that don't require as much thought, which is creating the sales page, editing the bio, all that sort of stuff, and then also what's the other thing? Video editing and things like that. I'm not a really good editor of videos. I don't really edit my videos that much. But yeah, what I've started doing is just doing minor edits in the videos to just make them look a little bit better. And then reading as well. I'll do that in the afternoons and evenings usually. Just reading a lot of self-improvement type books or consuming educational YouTube content. And that's sort of something I'll do sort of just before dinner so that I don't really have to think about it too much. And then I just sort of have dinner, do my evening routine, and then go to bed. I will also, yep, I've already read that. I said, I wonder if I can record videos on my computer or my phone or start writing scripts for videos. I've dropped off a bit ever since returning from sea, but today it all changes starting tomorrow. I know what my purpose will be, and I'll revolve my days around that. But I think it's also important to know how important my job is, so I shouldn't forget about that, because that is what's making me money. Also, so I will at least invest an hour a day into studying new skills for my job. Yeah, did I do that? Maybe too much actually. I don't really need to invest that much time into my work because I'm pretty good at what I do, and I know that I can kind of do it without study, which means that I can focus a lot more attention and energy onto this because this is ultimately what I'm going to be doing after I leave my job. And then yeah, that's what I'll be doing, is doing YouTube for like the next 3 4 years, 5 years, maybe even 10 years, and hopefully I can actually make something out of it. What happened between now and then? Was there really any excuses? In 2022, I was very focused on work in the gym. Towards sort of the back half of the year, I made very good gym progress, but I wasn't eating very optimally or training optimally for that matter. And I actually only put on a few kilos. Most of that was fat. Most of it was because I didn't track my calories, which didn't help. At that stage in my life as well, my social life got pretty good. I hung out with a lot of my old friends from high school that had sort of expanded their social circle, and had some really good friends, but then it kind of turned real toxic. And then the person that I used to hate, I sort of became that person myself and became a bit of a toxic person myself. And then I sort of felt like a loser after that because I pretty much cut off those friendships very quickly. And then I pretty much had no friends after that. It went back to square one. And then also in the 2020, I hung out with some very toxic people, like I mentioned before. And then even though I was still going to the gym, my workouts weren't as serious and they weren't quite bad. And then overall life was going downhill very quickly. 2023, my job took over. I wasn't really able to do YouTube because I was very, very busy with my job. Like, when I say it's more than a 9 to 5, I mean it's more than a 9 to 5. Like, it's almost a 24-hour job sometimes, where you pretty much you live, you breathe, you eat, and you pretty much have no freedom at all when it comes to it. I was insanely consumed by my work, and I was surrounded by pretty toxic people. The only escape that I sort of had then was religion, and I started going to church a lot more. And then I made some really good friends, actually, some friends that I'm still friends with to this day, that I met in the Catholic social circle. That's also how I met my ex-girlfriend, was through that group as well. And they're people that actually were really good, and it gave me something to look forward to. The reason I didn't do YouTube then was, I think, because I was physically exhausted, mentally exhausted, that when I would get home, because I would start work at like 5, 6 in the morning sometimes, and I would get home, I would literally have no energy and I wasn't able to do anything. And even then, working out took a bit of a pause just because the work was so full on that I was never even able to work out. And my physique became really shit that year, which didn't help. And then even towards the end of 2023, even after I moved my work location, because I had a lot of issues within the current location I was in, I realized pretty quickly that, like, there's the same type of people that are degenerates everywhere, pretty much in the organization I was in, and I almost needed a way out. 2024, things were actually going all right. I saved a lot of money. I worked a lot. But again, I didn't really do YouTube or any of these goals that I'm talking about now, like, at all, just because of the work, and just because I had other focuses in life. The thing that probably slowed down my progress a lot in 2024 was the fact that I broke my collarbone and got injured. And that pretty much had me stuck at home for 4 weeks doing absolutely nothing. I read a lot. That's kind of all I was doing at the time, was just reading books, because that's all I could do. And then once that sort of happened, then I moved back down to Sydney in 2024. My social life took off again. I felt amazing. I got good with girls. I even saw 2 different girls at the same time once, and actually got a girlfriend then through that. Unfortunately, though, I took her for granted and didn't give her the love she deserved. And not only that, but I also, like, stopped working on my goals, which, is 100% my fault. And then that takes us to 2025, which is this year. We're towards the end of 2025 now. After we broke up, sort of mid-year, I got really, really serious in the gym, tracked my calories, actually bulked properly. In the last few years, I tried to put on weight, but I mostly put on fat and didn't actually put on that much weight. But this year, after about like August, I was like, I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week and eat a lot. And I put on, I think, nearly about 10 kilos since then, which is crazy, which is a lot. And I would say like about half of that is probably muscle, which is more than I've done ever in my life, right? I'm in the cutting phase at the moment. I'm about 87 kilos at the moment. I think I was about 79 at the start of the year. I wanted to cut down to about 84, 85 and actually see my be at about 10% body fat. But then the reality kicked in pretty quickly that there's the same toxic people everywhere you go. And it's been the same thing every time. And I've just sort of thought to myself, like, the main reason I want to quit my job is the association thing. I want to be surrounded by people that actually have similar ambitions, have similar goals in self-improvement. And then, yeah, I took fitness seriously. I actually achieved the weight gain that I wanted. But I would say, yeah, I would say, like, in conclusion, really, the main causal factors that hindered my success was association with the wrong people. Everywhere I went, there was sort of like toxic people and people that were kind of degenerates, which sucks. But the biggest thing with us guys included in self improvement is you want to find other brothers that are actually trying to improve in self improvement. And another thing as well is being in the wrong city. For example, where I am now, it's a pretty relaxed place. There's a lot of people, all they kind of care about is partying, drinking. There's not really a serious self-improvement community up here, which sucks because it's kind of all I care about right now, and I have literally no one to do it with, which makes me very, very lonely. But that's where, once I leave my job and actually am able to move out, then I'll hopefully move to one of the self-improvement hotspots of the world for a few years and actually meet the right people. Yeah, the only life where it's possible for me to focus on my fitness, eat clean, and associate myself with the right people is if I'm self-employed. And that's a reality, that's a realization I made sort of earlier this year. That, like, my life's never going to improve that drastically. Like, yeah, I can improve it myself, but being antisocial and almost feeling like you don't have friends, it just sucks all the time. I remember I had a friend as well who I was talking about YouTube to a few years ago, and he sort of looked at me, like, this was a couple months ago. He sort of looked at me and he's like, yeah, well, you haven't really done anything about it yet. And I was sort of sat there for a sec and I was like, fuck, man, he's actually right. Like, I've been talking YouTube this, YouTube that for years and years, but I never actually did anything about it, which really, like, makes me sad when I look at it. But I can look at that and go, fuck, I've wasted 3 years. Or I can look at it and go, you know what, I've actually learned a lot in 3 years. I can use this to now fuel my journey forward and go, you know what, YouTube's actually the right thing for me. The positives, I guess, out of all this is that I know that I can make it. I know that if I made it there, I can make it anywhere because I know I have the skills and discipline to actually get the work done. Where do I want to be in 3 years from now? That's an interesting thing for me. I want to have grown on YouTube. I'm not going to aim for a subscriber count or something like that because I don't really care that much about it. But in 3 years from now, I want to actually have achieved the body that I want, and I want to actually have a full-time running YouTube channel and full-time online business. The specifics of that, I wrote them down myself, but that's really the biggest thing of where I want to be in 3 years. And I'm going to write this down again myself so that I can look back on this in 3 years and go, did I actually achieve these, yes or no? And in 3 years from now, the answer is going to be yes. I will make sure it is. And I'll go at nothing. I'll stop at nothing until I actually achieve that goal. So, yeah, thanks for watching the video. Bit of a longer one today. But I think it's really important to put this message out there and go, you know what? Put this message out there and go, you know, don't look at the 3 years you wasted, look at the 3 years ahead and what you can actually achieve. If you want to check out my coaching link, is the top link in the description, as well as the workouts that I use. They're also linked below if you want to check those out. If you did enjoy the video, please comment and consider subscribing to my channel if you want to hear more self-improvement advice in the future. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you.